One of the biggest problems concerning the global health industry is the increased lack of fresh produce available to people in a certain area. These food deserts occur when a community has no access to grocery stores or farmers markets and can lead to malnutrition. A growing solution to this problem is the use of aquaponics systems to grow your own food in a sustainable and efficient way. You can use a fish tank to add nutrients to help the plants grow. We designed a system that would pump water from the tank PVC pipe fixed above the tank. The pipe has small holes in it so the water drips down. We placed a larger PVC tube with the top cut off underneath the dripping water. This was filled with gravel and housed the plants. The second PVC pipe also had holes in the bottom so the water dripped back into the tank. The water makes a full loop, providing the plants with water and nutrients along the way. We used 2 aquatic plants for oxidation and 3 terrestrial plants for food. The aquatic plants were called the Amazon sword, Echinoderus grisbachi. The plants growing above the tank were thyme, Thymus vulgaris, parsley, Petroselinum crispum, and aloe, Aloe vera. Thyme and parsley are both herbs often used in cooking, and aloe is a natural remedy for skin problems such as sunburn, but the gel is also edible and nutritious. We used a total of 14 aquatic animals to fertilize the water. They were 2 guppies, Poecilia reticulata, 4 minnows, Phoxinus phoxinus, 3 goldfish, Casterius auratus, 2 silver mollies, Poecilia sphenops, 1 red platy, Xiphophorus maculatus, and finally 2 ghost shrimp, Palaemonites pallidosus.
As Sam had previously stated, there are many organisms in our project and they all interact in different ways. For example, aquatic plants provide oxygen for the fish through oxidation. Plants absorb ammonia, which can be toxic to the fish in high concentrations. The nutrients from the plants are drained back into the tank, which help the fish grow. The fish provide carbon dioxide, which is used in photosynthesis. In turn, the plants remove CO2 from the water, which reduces pH levels, which need to be in a certain range in order for our fish to survive. The fish waste is also used as fertilizer for the terrestrial plants. There are also certain abiotic factors that play an important role in the project. Constant water circulation will help maintain the amount of water each plant receives. The constant water circulation also provides a steady temperature. This temperature must remain constant as the plants thrive under a certain heat range. If the water is too cold or too hot, the enzymes will denature, resulting in no photosynthesis. The light above the plants is always turned on. These overhead lights are a source of light for the plants, which contributes to photosynthesis. Another abiotic factor is the bubbler we have. The bubbler is kept at a constant rate and contributes to the oxidation.
Companies that mass-produce food usually produce tons of carbon dioxide and release it into the air. With our solution, it creates no excess carbon dioxide that releases into the air, as it uses the nutrients provided from the fish to grow, and the carbon dioxide is recycled throughout the process. The carbon dioxide in the system is always going to be recycled in the process when traveling between the plants and fish. The fish use the oxygen that is dissolved in the water to respire. Through the respiration, they release carbon dioxide back into the water, which is then picked up by the plants and used for light-independent reactions to create glucose for the plant, which store energy, allowing the plants to grow. The oxygen that is produced in the plants is released into the atmosphere, and the bubbler can eventually, in turn, take the oxygen and dissolve it into the water so that the fish can use it to respire. Nitrogen is the main benefactor in the growth of plants. It plays a big role in photosynthesis, and the fish provide an outlet to recycle the nitrogen to be used by the plants again. Nitrogen first comes in as food for the fish. As they digest the food, the fish transform it into nitrogen and is eventually released through waste. The plant uses the nutrients from the waste of the fish as a reactant for photosynthesis. The nitrogen is eventually drained back into the tank to be used by the fish once again. Similar to nitrogen, the nutrients that allow the plants to grow come from the fish in the tank, both from their waste and or the fish dying or decomposing. But in this lab, we take the fish out of the tank before it decomposes. The nutrients are sucked up by the plants, the main ones of which consist of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Along with soaking up the nutrients from the water, the plants also sucks up ammonia, allowing the water to be less acidic, as it would have a bad effect on the fish in high concentrations. Similar to ammonia making the water more acidic, carbon dioxide in great amounts also creates an acidic environment, making it harder for things to decompose, letting the nutrients continue in their cycle. In the 3 days that we took measurements, the pH started at 7.2, rose to 7.5, then to 7.3 on the third day, proving that the plants can take the water filtered for them and clean it so it's not unstable for the fish, while supporting the growth of the plants. Based on how nutrients are recycled in our ecosystem, we can infer that the more nutrients there are to use, the faster the plants will grow, allowing for more carbon dioxide to be consumed by the plants, which in turn allows the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water to grow, which allows more fish repeating the process, since nutrients come from the fish processing the food given to them. There are two energy levels in this ecosystem: the plants as producers and the aquatic animals as consumers. While the fish and shrimp don't directly eat the plants, energy is still transferred through nutrients, so both the plants and the animals benefit from having the other in the ecosystem. Our aquaponics project can be deemed successful due to the fact that the nutrients are constantly being recycled. The plants provide for the fish in various manners, such as reducing carbon dioxide levels, reducing ammonia in the water, and providing nutrients for the fish. The fish are also beneficiary towards the plants, as their waste can be potentially used as fertilizer for the plants. Our plants can be used as an example as a growth in the system. Over the course of our project, all our plants grew. The thyme grew by 5 grams, the parsley grew by 4 grams, and the aloe grew by about 2 grams. If you multiply these growth rates, which are for 5 days, by 72, we get the amount of growth in a year. The yields from the plants would be about 398 grams of thyme, 270 grams of parsley, and 180 grams of aloe. In terms of qualitative observations, the plants seemed to be growing well as they grew taller and maintained a healthy color. The fish that survived also grew in size over the 5-day period. The system we've created is very energy efficient and requires just a little bit of electricity to form a self-sustaining, cost-effective, and food-producing environment. Our model is fairly simple and will not take a lot of money to mass produce. Also, the whole system takes up less than 7 square feet of space. It wouldn't be hard to get a lot of these devices out to a lot of people, in particular to households and food deserts. A much larger aquaponics system would then be required for it to be a primary source of food, but using one this size would be an excellent way to get much needed nutritional value. However, our model can be augmented to any size necessary by simply changing the size of the PVC in tank. Aquaponics can really make a difference in circling communities and help to better the health of humans around the world.